do a one-bottom plow. Now, there's a couple different styles of moldboard plows, but this is probably the most common what you come across, where it only throws the soil one way. Now, there's a lot of terminology thrown around when talking about plows and numbers and whatnot. So I'm going to show you how to measure a plow bottom to find out how big it is. So when people talk about a plow like this, they'll say it's a 12-inch plow. And what they're telling you is it's going to cut a 12-inch furrow in the ground. You just measure the end of the plowshare, which is here, straight across to what's the landslide on the other side. And here we see that comes out to 12 inches. So people will call this a one bottom, because there's only one moldboard, 12-inch plow. Now, with a plow which throws the soil in one direction like this, the plowman has a decision to make when he starts the field. Either start on the edges and work his way towards the center, or start on the center and work his way out towards the edges. So this field, you'll see we started in the center. The first passes were right in the middle. Because the plow is throwing soil up on unplowed ground right in the center of the field, you end up with a slight ridge. And if you were to look at the profile, you would probably see that the crown of the field is in the middle. What this leaves you with is a furrow on either side of the field, on the edges. I'm going to start in the middle and work my way out. Now that furrow is then filled in with secondary tillage. With a furrow on either side, it's a pretty easy job to level that out. Now you can't plow like this every year consecutively, because eventually you'll really build up a big mound in the middle of the field. A lot of people alternate which way they plow every year. Let's look over here at this other field, which we plowed the opposite way. Now, when I plowed this field, the tractor was facing the other direction, and we threw the soil out on the first passage along the edges. As we worked our way to the center, we ended up with what you can see as two double dead furrows in the middle of the field. You can also see some extra tire marks, and it's a little sloppy because bringing the two lands of plowing together can be tricky. Now there's sort of a big dip there if you were to look at it from the profile. That too gets filled in with secondary tillage, but even when it's done, you'll probably still see a slight depression. That's why it's important to switch ways to plow every so often so you don't permanently ditch or mound your field. All right, Chris, bring it over to that stake. So, it's important when you're plowing to keep your rows straight. And driving a straight row is a skill. Like many things, it comes with practice. Now, Chris has been working here a few years. He drives a pretty straight row. But to make it even easier for him today, we've measured off the field centers on either end and marked them with stakes. He's going to start at this stake and head to the far stake as his target, and he's going to fix his gaze on that stake and drive right to it. The less you look behind you, the straighter the row. So when you're starting out your plowing, you want to make sure that your plow is running level to the ground, so you can kind of see we're hiked up on the moldboard a little bit. We can use the adjustments on the fast hitch, okay, to level that out a little better. The depth in which the plow will go is determined by the pitch in which the front of the plow meets the soil. That's adjustable here. Chris, if you want to demonstrate. So that's a shallower plowing, and that's a deeper plowing. Now the first pass is always kind of shallow because both wheels are up on the land. After we get the first run down and back, the wheels on the right side of the tractor will be in the furrow, allowing us to cut in deeper. All right, Chris, let's see what you can do. the other way. It's going to do the same thing. Just drive as close to the tilled ground as possible with the right side. The beam to it, set the plow bottom at level when it's running into furrow. Now that we've got the first furrow started, next pass should go a little bit deeper on us yet. Let it go. Thumb is a plow will plow nicely at half the depth of the width. So if it's a 12-inch plow, that means it should plow at least pretty good at 6 inches. If you're trying to bite off more than the cub can chew, you'll start spinning wheels and the front end might lift up on you. If that happens, just change the pitch of that depth lever so you're not trying to plow so deep. Once you got it started, a little speed sometimes helps fold the dirt over. Now see, it's not quite going as deep, so we'll have to readjust that depth scale bar. Good, try that. There we go. Right there you have it, right about 6 inches. And now the width of the furrow should be about 1 foot.